You ready? Say action.
They call me childish. They call me the Holy Ghost, Son of the Most, Father, they don't know me.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a really long time since we've had one of these, but thank God I was able to be blessed by these people who are like, you know what, it is what it is. We support your passions. So I'm going to start from you, if you can introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Kuda. I am a lawyer and an entrepreneur. Anything else? What else?
Oh, I don't know. You know you.
That's it. Lawyer and entrepreneur.
And you?
Dennis.
Okay.
You need an introduction.
Well, I don't know. I think you think you're
I feel like people should know me by now. You know?
Should they? Okay, and at the back there we have.
Hi guys, my name is TJ, chef entrepreneur. That's just homie. kind of.
You know, you try to fill up the CV.
Yeah, I don't know, like
That's just homie.
Yeah.
And to my left.
Hi, my name is Pia, and I'm just a magical being living a magical existence every single day.
Period. Hashtag unicorn. Come on. All right, so first of all, thank you guys for coming through. Like, I really, really appreciate you. The topic for today, and something that I've been wanting to discuss, especially from a Zim perspective, we're in election season, so I think that these kind of conversations are important to have, okay? So first things first, have you heard of the term American dream, and what does it mean to you? So I'll start with you, Kuda. What does it mean to you, the term American dream?
I think that just means, you know, when you go to America, you're able to live your best life. You can travel, you can own a house, get a job, do an entrepreneurship. It just means your dreams will come true when you go to America.
Oh wait, so is going to America an essential part of the American dream? You gotta clarify.
American dream in America.
The American dream in Budiriro. Alright, cool.
TJ, what's your perspective? Like, what's your definition of American dream?
So I would say the way that it's been built, at least in my head, is that, you know, it's the land of opportunity. You can come here from anywhere and then do and become anything, right? Like whatever your aspirations might be, that is the place where you go and do it.
Okay, but then is it something that's actually like achievable? Or is like dream the operative word?
I think dream is the operative word, because if it was true, they'd have, you know, like better equality statistics. Like literally you could be anyone and then go there and do it, and that is not the case. That's not true, right? There's select people in select places that have been able to achieve it. To be honest, I think it's a little bit overhyped.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like because...
So you think it's just good PR?
Yeah, 100%. Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. Because
like they were just able to market themselves as a country.
Because people say that, for example, like Arnold Schwarzenegger is the epitome of the American dream, but he did a span and he's also Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
Yeah.
Like we can't all go there and then become governor and have blockbusting movies and so on and so on.
But when he started, he wasn't Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, but he was always Arnold Schwarzenegger. The cameras then just came.
With the
Bro,
muscles.
like,
Yeah, but like there's a lot of big ass bodybuilders. There's a lot of muscled bodybuilders.
Uganda Guchikurubi, all the fans. The guy from Pablo's will be there.
No, but that's my point, right? Because there's also guys who have won the Olympia, who have become bodybuilders, but they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't then become governor of California. They didn't do that. So it's not for everyone, right? Which I think is just true in life in general.
But then maybe it's the definition that we started off with, right?
Yeah.
Because no matter where, depending on where you're coming from, if you are in your own house with a basic job, that could be your American dream.
Fair.
So it depends on what.
But that's not what they sold.
Yeah, exactly.
PR said.
That's what they say.
That's not what they say.
We could all be Beyonce.
Can we?
We could all be Beyonce. Come on.
I mean, if Michelle couldn't be Beyonce, and she's close in proximity. Like, where's Tashika from
Shade. Respect Michelle, please.
But I don't know how much of the American dream actually has anything to do with other people coming to America to achieve these things, right? I think what the American dream is really like a system where you can achieve whatever you set out to achieve, right? So if you want to go to school, you're going to get access to a student loan. If you are starting a business, there's going to be access to grants or whatever. Like there's going to be enough support systems for you to be able to develop that. So I think it's a real thing, man. Like the US really does give you those sorts of like functional things to do. You can put money away into your pension fund. And bro, you know the third most common type of millionaire in the US are teachers.
What?
Mad.
Teachers who've just saved up through the course of their careers.
Extra lessons. Asking for a country.
No, couldn't go to my extra lessons.
Wait, so then from that perspective, since you're saying it's not necessarily the amount of money that you make, etc., but it's more so the, I guess, the functions or the functionality of the economy, the opportunity, the systems that you get, what would you then define as like the Zimbabwean dream? Okay, we've never heard that term before because we don't have the PR. But like, what would you then define?
We don't
as
have
the
the
Zim dream?
anything.
To leave.
Like, what's your perspective?
Leave, child.
That's actually wild because it's so true.
Honestly, like, I mean, so personally, right? So like what I was raised with is exactly what Kuda is saying. So it's like, it's to shark, right?
Yeah.
Like the dream and the goal is to get out, right? And then I think there's either through lack of opportunity or you're just kind of like, nah, bro, but you know, Zim is my home and I can make something of it. It's when, you know, you sort of then come back, and I think I'll say a bunch of us, right? Like younger people who are starting to define that and kind of create a platform where we can tell, like, we're young, but like younger people to be like, yo, bro, like you can actually stay in Zim, you can make something of yourself.
Yeah.
And this is what that pathway looks like.
Because I was gonna ask, is there a lack of opportunity? Because like from my perspective, like coming into Zim, I was like, ish, it's dead. Like, what am I gonna do? But then the thing about Zim from my perspective is that you actually, for the most part, you don't have to come up with anything new.
No.
Like, it's not like the market is saturated as if like when you're in America, when you're in England, when you're in Europe or something like this. I feel like you have a lot more opportunity. This is not a sponsored post. I feel like you have a lot more opportunity just because there's not that much competition. But it's more so about, I guess, knowing the rules of the game.
Right.
Like this is not a sponsored post. All the time there's a guy wearing a Zona PM cap in the back.
Like, this is not an ad.
So like, I would want to get the perspective of like, how much do you think it's the situation as it is, and how much do you think that there's rules to the game and you just got to learn the rules?
I would say, to kick us off, right? I would say I think it's a little bit of both, right? And I think it comes down in some parts to an individual thing where you're like, yo, like I'm willing to go for this, and I want to do it, and I want to try and figure it out. And then once you start doing that, you start learning the rules of the game, etc. The second thing on that is there aren't a lot of people like us doing stuff. So it makes it hard to believe that it's possible.
Yeah.
Right? And then I think once a lot of that starts to happen, then people start to believe, and where because of the opportunity, like you're pointing out, you know, where in other places it's been done before and it exists, whatever, there is no playbook, and we are the ones who have to write that playbook for us. And I think once we've done that, then we can start to define, yo, this is what the Zimbabwean dream playbook then looks like.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think are the most successful or like the best areas to go into to be successful in Zim?
Changing money. You know what? I have such a different perspective on what the Zimbabwean dream is. I think the Zimbabwean dream is most personified by the people who move back. Yeah. So every couple of years you get someone who's like, yo, I'm moving back to Zim because I heard that people are farming, or I heard that people are mining, or whatever. Very often ill-advised, but in the times that it's actually the real thing or the right thing to do, it's usually because you're going to operate in a space where, like you guys are saying, because there's not a lot of people, there's no market saturation, right? So those spaces are wide open, but they're not just wide open. The margins that people operate on in Zimbabwe are ridiculous.
Bruh.
Like people would just charge you 30%. Calm.
Like, I feel like we've, as people in general, whether you're in like a big business or kind of even like my beer or something, we've normalized 100% markups
200%.
on 200%. I mean, I'm entrepreneur. Today, the things that you're doing, like we've normalized these huge markups which are actually not sustainable when you go anywhere else. That's why I think a lot of people get disappointed, like when they go to other functioning economies, and then it's like, wait, so you guys don't do 200% market? Because it's not normal, bro. Like, respect the US.
But I think how we just said, what I'm getting is that you come back and you do your own thing, and then you can be successful in it, which is true. I'm thinking from the perspective of if I just want to be a professional, and I just want to work 8 to 5, but still be able to live comfortably, still be able to not have a side hustle, still be able to buy a house, buy a car, do what I need to do. And I don't think here you can. I think, to be fair, as much as you want, for example, your employer to pay you what you deserve, right? And you look at global statistics, you know, I think lots of countries, America, SA, England, they will publish, okay, if you are a lawyer,
like this is how much
you should be paid, and then you look at what you're getting paid, and you're like,
I feel like it doesn't even touch the helm, bro.
Just not touch the helm. Jesus. If only I could touch the garment. But you can't do that here. And I think it's very sad because not everyone is trying to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody's trying to hustle. Everybody's just trying to get a job and get money.
Especially since you brought up, like, from a corporate perspective. From my experience, so when I moved back, right, there was people who were offering me like $75 to work. And I'm like, wow, that's what a law degree was. And the wildness of it was I wasn't the only one. Like there were a lot of interns and like candidate attorneys
unpaid.
And it's like make your own fuel to get there. And like it's not necessarily a product of the company not making enough money, but it's more so that other people within the same fraternity or whatever, within the same industry are paying this much, and you are able to get away with it, that you end up doing so. So then to me, it makes me question, how much of it is the systems and the opportunities, etc., and how much is the inability to achieve this Zimbabwean dream, the people? Like people wanting to take advantage of other people.
It's both those things.
You
we
think
can't
so?
pretend like we're not living under an oppressive system and people aren't going to be affected by that in the way that they treat each other. We're constantly trying to one-up each other, what we call charare. It's so normalized between us to treat each other like shit or to charge each other 200% markup. It's completely normal. But we're all trying to make a living, but no one's actually thinking, if I'm trying to make a living, why am I making things more difficult for the next person? Because I'm trying to keep myself afloat. I'm number one, everybody else falls second.
Because to be fair, like it's like I always say, it's very easy to be politically correct. It's very easy to want to say the right thing. If I made money, you people would not see me. Okay, I'm here now because I'm still humble. Okay, so my question is, okay, there's this thing where internationally people are thinking about, hey, is it even necessary for certain people to be billionaires? Like, should anyone have that much wealth? What would you say to the statement that billionaires are necessary?
100%.
As a future billionaire.
100%. 100%. 100%.
Future billionaire.
100%.
$1 billion? Have you ever seen the kinds of shit rich people do with their money?
That's what
What do they do?
Gold-plated toilets and diamond-encrusted cars.
if I have the option.
My ass is special.
So do you know the weird thing about the conversation around billionaires, right? Is do you know how hard it is to spend $50 million? No, like in actual, if I ask you to spend $50 million, you're gonna talk about buying a house, which is not really spending it. That's really an investment. You're gonna talk about the majority of things that you're talking about won't be consumptive products. It'll be like pretty much investments, and that's what those guys do for the most part, right? They create so much value, and like I think the conversation around billionaires, it gets like distorted because people think that you're just going to become a billionaire, but in real life, the statistical like improbability of you becoming a billionaire, bro, Zimbabwe probably has just Strive. Do we have another official billionaire?
There are a few others who are low key.
Uh,
I'm not going to mention names.
Don't mention names.
But there are there are not a lot, but like there are, I'd probably say like 5 or 6 billionaires in Zim that exist, right? And Strive is probably the most public, but there's other people who just move low key who have enormous amounts of wealth.
No, but why do you think they're worth $1 billion?
Yeah, because they worked, right? So my thing to kind of answer your question, right? It's like
What? Who said that?
so my thing, kind of to Genesis' point, is that like the probability of you becoming a billionaire, it's highly unlikely, right? And more often than not, the people who say that billionaires don't matter are not billionaires and have no aspirations
Of
or
being
capabilities
billionaires.
of becoming billionaires.
Bro, the capabilities. Like, if you've ever been around someone who's so high functioning, someone with $10 million, if you see the amount of work that that person does in real life,
Yeah. And
bro,
you're like, please, bro, take all of the money that you have. Because it
And
is,
employ
it is
some
non-stop.
people, right?
It is seeing opportunity, making the most of it, being able to finagle it, and you're also functioning in a system that doesn't graft. Right? Even if we want to use Strive as an example, right?
Yeah.
There were barriers for him to get to where Econet is. And he did it
But
anyway.
we're there.
No, they were.
Because
They
I
were.
feel like
They were.
it's a function of making the system work for you. Like if there's certain people who are billionaires,
Right.
like in this system,
Right.
where if it was a functional system, they couldn't be billionaires,
Right.
like
Yeah.
because they capitalize off the dysfunction of it all.
Right.
So I don't think it's a fair analysis to say that no, because I graft so hard and what. That's like
bro,
a lot of people
those,
are
those
grafting.
people work hard, bro.
Tash, the thing is, if that is true, then why aren't there more billionaires? Honestly.
Which is a question that I wanted to
Right.
ask, which
Yeah.
is that to
Or
what
do you just think they're
to
smart?
what level?
I think it's the rate.
Maybe it's the rage, bro. Like to what level, or if any, do you think that being poor is a choice?
Wait, however, before we get there, I'm not trying to answer that, but I do want to say why. Going back to why billionaires are important. Should we have billionaires at all? I remember being in uni, and the majority of the Watts, their uni was not paid by their parents. Mine was.
Yeah.
Right? My parents were killing it here. But they were living off Sekuru's
Exactly.
funds,
That's the
right?
generational
And
wealth.
Right.
So I feel like, as a future billionaire, I would want a situation
singing?
where I do what I do with my money. Obviously, I won't finish the billion.
Yeah.
However, there will be generations that will,
Right.
benefit from it, which I think gives them a leg up as they progress and do whatever it is that they need to do.
So something that's prevalent within this society, which I think is like villainized for no reason, is nepotism.
For no reason.
Other than denied access to everybody.
Huge supporter
I'm a
of
fan.
nepotism,
I am
bro.
a
Like you're just
fan.
mad because your dad is poor.
Wow.
No, I can say that because my dad was never present. So like,
Again, wow.
Are you okay? What is happening?
Not absent farmers.
Shout out Deadbeats. Shout out Deadbeats. We appreciate you.
because if you were able to capitalize off of that, no doubt would. You wouldn't be out here being like, hey, I had this
Yeah.
uncle Chichichi, because you would be the cousin that got hired.
Exactly.
So we were just having a conversation at some point before this, and Tatiana makes a very valid point. No one knows who Tatiana is behind the camera.
Yeah.
However, Tatiana made a really valid point where there has to be a distinction between the nepotism in the private sector, right? So you have a company and you're trying to do that for your family. I think that's one thing.
Yeah.
But there's also the nepotism that happens in public office or in offices where it's not your company, you're just the FD, right? Like there has to be a distinction between
Why?
those kinds of. Why are you a minister employing your son to be the director in the ministry?
Why? Yeah, why not?
So to your point,
Damn,
right?
I don't
Because the opportunity is the same, right? And in my opinion, like what nepotism comes down to is providing opportunity for generations, right? And so if you're not a CEO or someone who's built to build or run a corporation, but you are someone who goes into public office, right? Not saying that you abuse that office, but if Tash is qualified and I can give her the job versus someone else, I'm 100% going to do it. Right? Because if it was my company, I would do the exact same thing.
Because
Right.
when you get to it, like that's what you're doing it for. Like P, you said you had some passionate.
Some notes.
No. When we were talking about it, P was like, I have something to say.
I think that the way we're looking at it is from a perspective of lack. Like, we're looking at it as, if I had that, I would do this, and it doesn't make sense, which is so valid. It's so valid. It doesn't make sense to me that you have this at your disposal and you don't want to do something about it. But we also have to be aware of the fact that people project a lot of emotions onto money, and people with a lot of money have a lot of issues like that. And that's how you have someone with millions or even billions as part of a trust, as part of their family, want nothing to do with that family because they know how they're treated because of that money. Yes, it's great that I have this money and I have access to it, but I don't want it because of what comes with it and how I'm treated because of it.
There's like 3 people like that in the world.
There's a lot of people like that. I've had many conversations with people whose lives I thought I would want. Like, you have everything. You have the bank account. You have the big family. You have this. You have the cars. The things that I thought would make me happy. And they're miserable because of the way they're treated.
They don't know what it's like to be poor. That's why.
Honestly, honestly.
Like,
It's because they're not broke.
They're not broke, bro.
Have the option to do away with it. So like part of the conversation we had previously was that, okay, if you were somebody who had connections worldwide, there's certain people who would be like, I don't want to benefit off the nepotism. I want to make my own way. I want to be able to be, judged on merits. I'm like, why? Like, why? If you, maybe it's the laziness in me.
Work's not hard. I don't know.
Like, if you have the option not to work too hard for something.
Then,
But also, here's my leap, right? You know, if you're here and you want to get things done, call somebody. You'll be like, oh, I'm looking for this, that, and that. And somebody says, oh, I know whoever. Call them. They'll get it done, sorted for you, right? How is that any different if I'm looking for a job? Call whoever,
and they'll get it.
And they'll do it. I don't understand that
I have
difference.
a question.
Yeah.
If we take money out of the equation entirely, let's say everything on earth is free and you can just walk into a fucking restaurant and get whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
What would make you feel fulfilled? If you take money out of the equation, how much of your decision making is fueled by money making?
A lot.
Money.
Most of it.
A lot.
And why is that?
Because that's the society we live in.
Our
Like, I
magical
would love to imagine a world without money. I would love, but
So where does that leave you in terms of your personal fulfillment? How do you feel on a daily basis waking up knowing I'm only doing this because I need money? And let's say you make as much money as you need. You have thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions and hundreds of millions in your account, but you still don't feel fulfilled. What happens then?
but I don't know that.
let me get money first.
Get the money first.
Let me give you my bank details.
Isn't
Send
the
that
point
money.
that what you can do with the money, the access that you can have with the
And then you
money.
get
So if
fulfilled.
everything was free, then if I could just travel to wherever for free, then I'd feel good. But the fact is, I can't because I don't got the money.
So-
So I need the money to be able to travel.
Also, you can donate some money and feel fulfilled, right? Like,
Yeah.
So I have a view on this, honestly, because that's a decision that I had to make in terms of what I'm doing now.
Right.
Right. And I was, I think, fortunate enough to be able to intersect what I actually want to do with money, because early on I realized, I was like, I could never do anything just for sheets. Right, just for the fuck of it, or just like I get paid to do this because I'm spending all of my time doing this thing.
Yeah.
Right, and what I would say on that is that it is not everyone. The reason why I say I'm fortunate is that it's not everyone who has the freedom to do that. Right, the freedom to say, you know, I will choose what I want to do and make money from it. Unfortunately, it's what we have, right? I think if we were in a situation where everything was free and you could do what you wanted, a lot of people would be doing a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But even for myself to make that decision, it was hard, bro. You know, like, my folks were like, "Sakoleta should be gasat." Are you crazy?
like, no, I'm cooking tacos.
Yeah, and it was like, what is your taco? Right? And then it was only after that I did it where they're like, oh, okay, fair enough, right?
I see
And
you.
so I think it's a difficult thing to say, but I think a lot of people will be doing a lot of different things if it wasn't just about money. If you didn't need money to
if
survive.
they had that option.
Yeah.
But then it's interesting, Dennis, because before this you said, oh no, I can donate money and feel fulfilled, like if I had a lot of money. And it made me think about this perspective where people with lots of money, I think, hold a lot more social responsibility. So there's this ongoing mentality that if you have money, you're supposed to distribute it to other people. And that doesn't sit well with me.
But also, people with lots of money distribute money, donate money for tax breaks.
Yeah.
Actually,
To make
yeah,
more.
They're making
yeah.
it back.
You're making money from giving money.
But then my question is that, do you think that people with more money should have more responsibility in terms of society as a whole?
Yes.
Yes.
No. Yes.
How so?
Yes.
Yes.
So maybe it might just be like my point of view of it. But in a situation where you know and understand that things are unequal, because even those donations, right, we're not asking you to give away all of your money. Just help some people out. Right, and so like even here in Zim, there's a bunch of companies who have this like corporate social responsibility, and they pretend to do the CSR thing, and they don't really do it. And it's like, in Africa, if we use that as an example, $100 is enough to change someone's life or someone's day, right? Consistently, giving someone $100 consistently from poverty, right, is enough. And if you're a billionaire, $100 a day is not that much, bro. Honestly, it's not that
See,
much.
my thing is
But there's an entitlement there.
Yeah,
That's
there
not
is-
okay.
There is an entitlement to
So-
other people's money.
That's stingy, bro.
No. But
No.
if I'm making it, it's not my responsibility to give it to you. It is a choice.
Because what
Yeah.
made me
It's a
thank you.
choice.
Because what made me think about it was
It
there was
is.
this one. There was like a minister in SA or something like this, like really recently on Twitter,
Right.
who was wearing a 4 million rand or dollar watch, 4 million rand watch, definitely not $4 million, a 4 million rand watch. And a lot of the comments were like, this is enough money to power so many hospitals for so many. That's not my... No, but like, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, how is that my responsibility? Maybe from that perspective it was because he's a minister, for which I get. If you're in public office, like what you're saying, there is certain things, there's certain responsibilities that come from that. But if I've gone and I've Jeff Bezos my way into things, yes, I'm going to wear a $4 million watch because I'm Jeff Bezos.
Birkin bag.
If not, why not? Like this whole thing of like, oh, because you have so much money, you should be doing X, Y, Z. Stop trying to spend other people's money for them.
But
Sorry,
the thing
if it makes
about
me
it,
have
if you
one.
take the weight, the charge from the word responsibility, if you stop if we can say it less of something that's expected of someone, and like she said, a choice. We just spoke about we exist in a world that needs money. And like he said, $100 to a billion is nothing. So you have all this money at your disposal that you're not even going to really use for anything that's that important to you because you've got your important assets done, like Dennis was saying earlier as well. So it's kind of like a social expectation. I don't want to use that word, but that's the only word I can think of. To say, you have this money at your disposal, please help other people who don't. But then it becomes really ugly when we start imposing that on other people. So you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, because then now someone's like, get the fuck
also,
over it.
also where are you drawing the line, right? Because there's the perspective that everyone is way more privileged than someone else, right? So you could be here and you're making $300 a month. Right?
And someone will be looking
In fact,
at you like,
I saw something on
"That's really
ZIMstat.
Yeah.
Only 1% of Zimbabwe makes more than $500 a month.
What? Yeah.
1%.
Yeah.
Only, according to ZIMstat, which is a
That
government,
makes a lot of sense.
1% of Zimbabwe makes more than $500
Is that
a
before
month.
taxes?
I don't know, but whichever way it's more. But like, the thing is, then it means that you are significantly more privileged than most people
Most
in Zim,
people.
right? But you guys don't draw the line at yourselves. It's not like, oh no, but I make $500, so I should go and give this $100 to those people because that's inequality. You guys love to draw the line at slightly higher level, right? But AOC, Alexandra Cortez, whatever, that American annoying politician, right? She's worth like $2 million, and she's constantly on the internet talking about billionaires. We need to tax them more. We need to, bro. What about your $2 million? Give that to other people
I feel
first.
like we should all hold each other to the same standard, because if I feel like you and your $1 billion should be able to donate money to other people, me and my $10, I should also be able. It's just about the
People
the
must-
scale.
No, but guys, no, hang on.
Scale of
People
how
must donate
much you
2% of
can-
their
It's
income.
not even money. that you
Yeah,
have to
I
donate.
That's not 2% of your sheets.
Yeah.
If you make $100, find $2 to give people on the street.
It doesn't even have to be money. It can be your time. It can be. It can be.
Thank you.
your
Actually, thank you.
I was
That-
gonna say,
have to
Thank you. It
always
doesn't-
be
Oh, do you want Jeff
money.
Bezos to give you your time, bro?
That's not what I mean. You know what I mean?
The time is valuable.
I'm sorry.
In your business, there's always a way. So we're both in food industry. I feel like you always have leftovers.
Exactly.
Do something. It doesn't have
Do
to
something
be
that
money,
works
you're
for
right.
you.
You
That's
guys-
within your tax bracket.
You
within
guys love
where
to
you
give away
are.
things that cost you nothing.
exactly.
Give people money. Give people money.
It costs money, though.
Because ultimately,
sheets,
what it
bro.
goes down to is that yes, we may hold other people like more responsible within society, particularly if they have money. But then no one ever wants to be inconvenienced.
Yeah.
Like no one wants to do anything that's inconvenient to them.
Yeah.
So then, like what you're saying is that's why you put it at like a higher threshold than other people. Because if you are here and you're earning 1,000 and you're already way above a lot of other people and what they're earning, you're like, but when I know it's 1,100.
Those are the
You
ones.
should be giving that extra 100.
First of all, so like, okay, this all came from whence we came. I feel
Yeah.
like we could like a,
Yankun.
but I think it's still valid. From whence we came. The question is it a choice to be poor?
No.
No. So,
We ran away
Like,
from
so-
that question.
yeah.
I think maybe the way I'm phrasing the question is wrong, because it might be alienating in some aspect. I think there's obviously a scale in terms of people's earning, etc. But then, like, surely for some situations, it's by choice.
That.
Like, are we saying
Tash,
that there are
do you think it's a choice that you're not a billionaire?
Yeah.
In a way, yes.
In a way.
yes. Why I would say that is because for me personally, and I definitely can't speak for everyone, but for me personally, the amount of opportunity and access that I have, I'm not at least a millionaire because I'm lazy. Like, that's for me personally. And in asking that question, I'm wondering how many other people are like, I'm just trying to build a society. I'm asking how many, because I know in my mind that there's a lot more that I could be doing with the opportunity that I have. And there's people with my background who have been able to do certain things that I haven't been able to do. And it's really because of either lack of confidence or because I'm lazy.
Right.
One of the two. And I can't, in my mind, just hold on to the fact that I'm the only person like that.
Right.
It's just you.
Yeah. No, so on poverty, I mean, so in economic theory, there's a concept called a poverty trap.
No, excuse us.
Yeah, no. So it's called a
Another
poverty
theory.
trap, right? And the idea is that, you know, I think Tash mentioned about people's daddies being broke and so on. So it's like you come from a place with no money, therefore you don't go to school, and you just have a bunch of kids, and therefore, you know, instead of being able to go to school, being able to get exposure, you just end up having, you know, 7 kids really early, and then because you don't have money and you don't have anything to provide for those 7 kids, they grow up, and then not that poverty is normalized, but because it's what you grow up in or around, you don't think anything is wrong with it.
Yeah.
And you don't also, because of that, don't have access to more opportunity. And then you just then continue to be stuck in this thing where you are poor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Lack
And
is
then,
a mindset.
yeah, right. And
It's
then-
not your
and then-
wallet, it's your mind. It's really
but no,
a mind.
but these are numbers.
Oh,
Thank
right,
you,
lack.
Like so there's some luck where like
Lack.
you know
Lack.
a philanthropic effort then can bring you out of that. So for example, where your whole family is poor, but then in your area there's scholarships so you can go to school.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That then breaks the poverty trap because now you're the one person in your family who went to school.
And that's that American dream we're talking about
Exactly,
earlier, right?
right.
Like you can make your way out no matter
what,
Yeah.
right? But it is not for everyone, guys. Like being broke,
Yeah.
being broke is not. For some people, it's a choice. For other people, it's just life.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
I wanted to be salacious. But no, it's a valid point.
No. There was a time when you were like, I just realized I'm actually an adult now. Because there was a time you're talking about like the poverty trap and how like people just have kids. Nigga, pull out. Are you mal?
Oh, one of my
You don't have to have kids.
kids.
Know any better.
You know,
Then to pull out.
The poverty trap comes
Exactly, to
fair,
life.
fair,
Yeah.
fair.
Bro, one of my cousins.
No, but then how are you gonna get? Well, because also just in terms of different societies outside of
Oh, right.
outside of Zim in general,
Say something.
like different societies, the ones like the poor usually have the most children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I understand if you're saying the trap of it is seeing it as an asset and it's going to build future generations, etc. But also, you still have to buy Pampers, bro. Like, how you
They're
gonna
building
get-
future with what bands, bro?
Nappies.
We're trying to build future generations with
How?
what bands, dog?
Buy nappies.
The two things that I'm hearing, one being mindset, right? It's not a choice to be poor. Structurally, you might be put in that position, and it's unfortunate. However, if you do, there is the poverty mindset, and then there is a billionaire mindset,
Yeah.
if I can call it that. But it is just to say, this is my situation now.
Yeah.
I need to do something to get out, right? And then the next word then being exposure. What do you have in your vicinity for you to be able to say, okay, I have a billionaire mindset, but I need to be able to get out. How do I get that? And so you need the opportunities to come to you. You need people to help you. You need the scholarships. You need that exposure to the scholarships. And then you need to be able to say, okay, what can I then do with that? Then there is the choice. And I feel like there are people that actively choose to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Right? There are people that actively choose not to work, not to do anything, just sit at home, and they know and take advantage of the fact that Tash will come help me. TJ will come help me. If I call Tash and I say, girl, I need whatever, she will pay. And then I feel like then the rest of us enable the
That.
lazy because we're constantly, giving out sheets, but then you're relying on me. So what am I going to do?
I really don't think the number of people that we're talking about in this conversation right
Is
now
that many?
is significant.
Is that many?
Like the people that are actively deciding not to do anything, especially in this environment, right?
Yeah.
Like I really feel like
That's very true.
a lot of the people that are struggling here are actually just struggling. Like it's just tough.
They're trying everything they can.
They
as
really
well.
are.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes it's hard to try, right? Like it costs money to try very often. Because I need to be able to just, on the most basic level, I need to be able to leave my house in the morning and go into town and go to Zimex Mall and be like, I'm going to sell cell phones. Go and buy tomatoes to go and sell Pamsika close to my house. But it costs money. And very often you actually don't have access to that money. Whatever dollar you're getting is going straight into today's food.
Yeah.
Bro, like they're selling...
Tomorrow's sales.
Or tomorrow's...
Yeah. And back, I guess, to American Dream, being that if you're in a country that does then have the structures, you could get a loan.
Yeah.
You could.
You could get capital. You could be able to raise capital.
But again, do
But
you have
you guys-
collateral?
yeah.
Do you have cash
No.
flows? Do
There's
you
still
have
And
all the
then
things that
also-
you're required to get
But,
that
but
loan?
in the States, you don't even need collateral,
Yeah.
bro. Right? Honestly,
Yeah,
like you can walk up to a
basically,
bank with a
yeah.
concept and they'll give you the money.
But
Like,
then
which
there's
doesn't
also
exist here.
a thing where, okay,
we're
yeah,
not white.
not companies, economies
actually,
are driven by lending, right? So like your ability to borrow and lend money in an economy is what drives it and increases, revenue, etc.
Right.
But then, I don't know, because there's been certain people that I've spoken with in different economies that are like, yo, you're so lucky you're in Zim because everyone is debt free.
Yeah.
So like there's this thing where like you do need debt in order to achieve a certain level in life. Like there would be a lot more people driving new BMWs if there was access to capital. However, we do the Vits and them because cash. Like we're a cash economy, and is that totally bad?
Tash,
I don't think so.
No, but it becomes capital when you use that finance to start a business, right? Also using that capital, like you said, to buy the latest BM.
Right.
That's you're dead by choice, bro. That's your fault. That's your fault, fam.
No, you're broke by choice.
Yeah, but no, because you could have used that money to go and start a business, to go and do something. But what you were thinking about is, I want Tash to see me in a Range Rover.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that loan to do that.
It's
right?
always funny when people say, and it's usually you entrepreneurs that want to say, oh, you could use that money to start a business. Not everyone is an entrepreneur. Like maybe I just want to do my 9 to 5 and drive a BMW.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
But you're not taking a loan to drive
Yeah,
a
so
BMW.
save,
That's
bro.
the thing.
Yeah.
Why are you
So save
taking
your
that
money,
out?
bro.
That's how it works. Like the majority of people that are taking out loans, they're doing it to buy a house, to buy a car, to buy like, you know,
Right.
those certain things, not to start a business. Like it's like a very select group of people who will be taking out loans for a business.
So I have a question.
Because it's so risky.
So do you think those people are taking those loans or using that finance to do it because it's the only way or because they want those things right now?
That's a good question.
It's probably both. Because who wants to wait for anything?
I want the house right now.
I want the house right now.
Yeah.
period.
Tonight.
Like,
A lot of those are bad decisions.
Yeah, right. Because you could, right, potentially be renting and everything else, save, and then buy your cabin in cash. But it's like, I want my 4-bedroom, double-story house now, and then they finance for it.
bedrooms, double story.
okay, so like, you know, for
Dream, bro.
Okay, so so this conversation, right, is not only about the American dream, but it's more so to get an understanding in terms of what your perspective on the Zim dream is, what that looks like, or what you'd want it to look like. So as we wrap up, I think that I just want to understand from each of you, what are you saying?
What's your point?
Like,
What's your plan?
Okay, so Pete, you go ahead.
I want my people to be free. I want us to be free to make decisions because we want to make them, not out of desperation, because I have to take care of a family, I have to take care of kids.
Yes.
I want us to be free. I want us to know that when I go to the bank and I say your service sucks, they're going to listen. I want to know when I send feedback to Econet, they're going to respond and help me with what I want. I want to wake up in a country where they don't make up charges on the spot.
Period.
I want my people
And
to
the
be
rates are
free.
stable.
And
Amen.
Wow,
Right.
that was just like straight from the heart, bro.
It was.
It wasn't even about the Zimbabwean dream. What happened at the bank on Friday?
Oh, but I felt
happened?
that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that, from my perspective, that's literally it. I don't think that people want a lot. I think that if people were just in a place to be able to function for themselves, so I always say this, I don't think that it's a matter of everyone wanting to be a billionaire or a millionaire, because like what we said, some of these outrageous amounts of money aren't really worth having. Like it's not like you're going to spend it and just, you know, like it's not necessary per se. I think that a lot of people just want to be content and stable and to feel that security. And to me, that's what it means. That's what the Zimbabwean dream means. Kuda?
I agree.
Yes.
It is the freedom. It is the stability. I just want to be able to think I can do it and be able to do it. Right? If I do want to start a business, I want to be able to scale the way others scale. If I put in the work, right? I don't want to put in the work and still get nothing. Right? If I go to my 8 to 5 and I'm working hard, I just want to be able to be rewarded for the amount of effort
And
that
time
that I'm putting in.
Yeah.
And just to have the structures that work, to be able to get my money from the bank without being scared. You know, you get paid in your bank and you're like, I got to take it out today because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't want that fear. You just want to be able to be stable, to plan your life. If it's going to take me 10 years to save for my house, that's fine. But let me be able to know that in 10 years' time, I will have my house. Don't let me 2 years from now being like, oh, economy has changed, structure has
to
changed,
start
start
over.
again.
Rate is different.
My money's gone,
Yeah.
the rate, you know, just stability, security, and reward me for my time and my money.
I love that, especially like the part about planning. I think a lot of it just comes from like you just want to be able to plan your future. But and you, TJ,
So
what do you think?
for me, I think the Zimbabwean dream ultimately is to have a society that is built by us for us. Right, where we have, so as we're sitting like this, right, where we are the ones who run things, we are the ones who own things, we are the ones who have built something that is good not only for us, but those who are going to come after us and legitimately will look after us, right? So like Kuda said, where I can save, I can do all of those things. And for me, just having an environment where that is possible, right, and where we can build that society is the dream and the vision for me.
Fair enough. Dennis?
So because I do have a kind of different perspective on what the Zimbabwean dream is, I think the Zimbabwean dream is ownership. I think that's the thing that we've been sold on, where there was a land reform, where there was an indigenization process. The thing that we've been sold on is the fact that you can own the land, and you can own that mine, and you can own those corporates, right? So, wow. But so I do think in the ultimate Zimbabwean dream, we would have a society where the people that are ambitious enough or are daring enough to go and own these mines can do it in an environment where it's so flawless that they can create all the employment that we're talking about for everyone else to be able to do the planning, to be able to access the mortgage, to buy their home for their work or whatever. But I think ultimately what the Zimbabwean dream is ownership, which isn't very common on the continent.
And let the church say,
Amen!
Thank
Yo,
you.
that's incredible.
Thank you. Good job. I appreciate
Can we do this on different topics?
I like it.